In this session, we are going to learn about new technology, Angular and React. Using this technology, we can create a web-based application so that the application will be much faster to use. So now we are moving to Angular, history of Angular. AngularJS was created by Misko Havari. Havari and two other developers wrote 17,000 lines of code over the period of 6 months for Google feedback. However, as the code size increased, Havari began to grow frustrated with how difficult it was to test and modify the code that team had written. So Havari made the bet with his manager that he could rewrite the entire application using his side Angular project in 2 weeks. But Havari lost the bet. Instead of 2 weeks, he took 3 weeks to complete the application. But he was able to cut the application from 17,000 lines to 1,500 lines. Using this AngularJS, we can create a client-side web application. The overall features of this Angular was that the page will never get refreshed in any operation. So it will gives the faster output. Before you study AngularJS, you must be familiar with HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript. Angular is a JavaScript framework written in JavaScript. It can be added to an HTML page with the script tag. So for accessing the Angular, we can get the script link from the official web page of Angular. Why AngularJS? It is a rich internet application. The best example of rich internet application is while typing the username in the registration form, that username is matched with any other account, it will automatically gives an error message. This is the best example of rich internet application. And then second one is single page application. Gmail is the best example of single page application. So you can perform every action in that single page. Third is MVC pattern. We can see the MVC pattern in upcoming slides. And fourth is cross browser compatibility. This AngularJS will work on different browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Opera Mini, etc. Open source and free. For accessing the AngularJS, we don't want to pay. It is open and then it is free to use. Website built on AngularJS. Gmail, YouTube, Walmart, PayPal are the website that is built on AngularJS. MVC pattern. MVC pattern stands for Model View Controller. View visual website elements using HTML and CSS. This is a Twitter sign up page. Here you can see the name and then logo, button and then input box. So this is the view done by HTML and then CSS. Controller connects, applies logic between the view and model. I told you earlier, when a user typing the username in the text field, if that username is auto matched with any other account, so it will use the error message instantly. And third is model, database schema and then data storage logic. So here you can see some input page. So these values are stored in database using MySQL and NoSQL. MVC is separation of concern design pattern. MVC is used for separating the files. Here the view folder contains the HTML and then CSS files, and then control folder contains JavaScript files, and model folder contains SQL files. When a program is working under the view folder, at the same time simultaneously the JavaScript programmer also work on control folder, and at the same time the database programmer can also work on model folder. This is the one sample Angular program. So here you can see one text field. If I anything typed inside this text field, it will automatically display below. So here I type Gopi, my name. So without storing into the database, it will automatically display here. Now we are moving to React.js. React is a JavaScript library for building fast and interactive user interface for the web as well as mobile application. It is open source, reusable components based front-end library. In MVS architecture, React is the view which is responsible for how the app looks and feels. History of React. React was built by Jordan Walke, who was a software engineer at Facebook, and the current version of the React.js is v16.8.6 and it is released on March. React.js was first used in 2011 for Facebook newsfeed features. Website built on React.js. Facebook, WhatsApp, Airbnb and then Instagram are the website that is built on React.js. Why React is popular? React helps in creation dynamic web applications. It also provides performance enhancements. React uses its reusable components. It will decrease the development time. Compared to AngularJS, React is much easier to learn. React can be also used for mobile applications. Features of React. JSX. It is used with React to describe what the user interface should like. JSX is the combination of HTML and JavaScript. Performance. React use the virtual DOM to increase the speed of the web application. Extension. React Native is the React extension for developing mobile applications. Industry trends. React developers earn more money when compared to other web development technologies. According to the pay scale, the average salary for the React developer in India is 7,25,000 per year. The average salary for the React developer across the United States is 91,000 US dollars per year. How to has a React? Install Node.js and then npm. For Angular, we don't want to install any software to access, but for the React, we want to install the Node.js and then npm for using React in your system or PC. npm stands for Node Package Manager. Open source developer use npm to share the softwares. npm is the world's largest software library. Sorry, it consists of 8 lakh code packages. Thank you.
So any questions, guys? Anyone?
Sir, I have watched a lot of videos in YouTube. All the YouTubers are saying that React will be much easier.
Basically, what happens in case of React and Angular, it's a framework and structure. So what happens? The most easiest framework on the structure will get greater priority over the others. So in case of React, it is much more organized and in systematic way, and the building pattern is also easier. So that puts it over the edge. It gives edge over the Angular. But in case of Angular, you can work on the minute details of the web page and the web server. So that helps in Angular to grow on a, what do you call it, smaller aspect, but yet on a firm. There is no actual comparison. You can't do actual comparison. I don't know about the YouTube videos what they say, but there cannot be an actual comparison between two JavaScript languages. They are all belonging to the same family. They are all JavaScript languages. So it's like comparing two brothers, who is the best. You can't compare them. They are brothers. They belong to the same family, isn't it? But if you say that who is more powerful, who can jump the longest, or maybe who can fight the longest, you can say that yeah, React has a typical edge over Angular because of its structure and algorithm. You can take it as React, but Angular is also not to be discarded. Their developers are also working very hard to make it reach the edge. Both are getting equal priority. Any more queries, guys?
So what do you think about Flutter, sir? In 2020, if we started to learn React or Angular, what about the Flutter, sir?
Basically, if you start learning React or Angular, it will basically give you an edge. See, it's like learning the ABCDs of JavaScript and JavaScript. They are like the basic building blocks. I ask everyone to learn PHP. I ask everyone to strengthen their basics. Because if you have your basics right, then what happens? You get an edge. You get to learn a lot of things. So in case of, if you, let's say today, if you learned Ajax and PHP well now, then Angular and that will be a piece of cake for you. Something like that. If you start learning.
But both are traditional, but Flutter introducing a new language like Dart. So
it's a mobile framework. Yeah. Flutter is basically a mobile web framework, right? So I understand your point that everything is going mobile and every device is becoming smaller every day. But you have to understand one thing, Mominath. More the devices become mobile, we are also looking forward for full-scale device. Let's say I give you a tablet or maybe a mobile phone. Won't you be happy to code on your laptop? Or maybe won't you be happy to watch something on your laptop? You give me the answer.
Mobile phone.
So you will be preferring mobile. But there is the statistics say that at this point of time, mobile to desktop ratio is around 30 to 70. So mobile people prefer mobiles on 30% and 70% the ratio preferred on larger screens, let's say desktops, laptops or something like that. So that is the basic ratio. See, Flutter is there. It's another brother of the same family. But the thing is that yeah, you can learn all of it one by one maybe, or maybe learn the basics straight. Let's say you learn the React.js first, then you can have good control over the JavaScript libraries. You can understand how it works, and then you can move on to some upper level language, UI UX based language like Flutter is there, and other languages are there which you can learn.
So I just wanted to add a point, sir. So Flutter is used, but Flutter is used for like building individual apps. It is still not used by organizations or firms like React and.
It's not like that. See, it's like Flutter is being used by organizations, but it's like in its basic stage. It's like a starting stage, and it is getting a huge priority by us developers because it is a mobile-based framework, right? It is something that is related to mobile. It can actually give you the give you a edge of developing mobile apps. So that is why it is becoming popular. It's not that the people are not using it. Yeah, React and other Angular Node, they are being used a lot by what we call it, professional companies. Flutter is also gaining momentum quite a lot. Actually.
Okay, sir. So what is different between library and framework?
See, a library and a framework, you can say that in simple terms, you can mark frameworks, a lot of frameworks, a number of frameworks compiled together is a library. It's a simple way of defining a library. It's like a differentiation. Framework is basically the structure, the frame, how do we call it, the dhacha of the system which will actually help you to build the code. And the library will be the chota snippets, chota structures, chota data patterns which you will use for building up the framework or maybe the ultimate product. So that is the library and this is the framework.
Thank you, sir.